Welcome to the Princess Power Hour, where we show you how to go from pauper to powerful by transforming your health, your wealth, and your relationships. Here's the princess of podcasting herself, Natalie Thomas.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. Thank you for joining us today. I've had a super busy day today. I have driven 3 hours and back to Illinois to drop off my dog for a dog show. So it's going to be Annie's first show this weekend. I'm so excited about that, but busy morning. Woke up and one of my chickens was sick. So I now have a chicken in my bedroom downstairs. And I have a fabulous guest for us today. I'm really excited about her story. But before I introduce our guest and tell you about a story, I'm going to tell you about my lip color of the day. As always, this is Hazelnut. It is a Kylie Jenner dupe. And it is lead-free. It is wax-free. But my favorite thing about it is it's kissable. It's smudge-proof. Check this out. Look at that. It is, look at that. I'm smearing it and it didn't go anywhere. Jackie, isn't that fabulous?
Oh my God, I want some.
I know, it's way cool. Well, okay, for everybody that wants some, you can go over to www.lipstickkissesandlove.com. That is my website. They shouldn't be asking you, do you, your zip code and all that and sending you somewhere else. And you can pick out a color, but what you also need to do is pick out a gloss. This lipstick will last 4 to 18 hours. The tube will last you 4 times longer than a regular lipstick, but the gloss is the secret sauce that locks it all in. Now, normally we use 3 very light coats of the lip color before putting on the gloss. You won't need to reapply the lip color, but after eating or smearing it like I do, you might need to reapply some gloss. But what was I going to say about that? Because there's something really important there. Oh, yes. Okay. Normally we apply 3 coats. I know that I said that. But with this particular color, it's really thick and you only need 2 light coats. And this one is great with a matte gloss. I like mine slicker than snot. So I usually go ahead and use the glossy gloss. But for the girls that are really into that matte look, we can do it. I know. What can I say? It's the truth, though. Okay, everybody. So this is Jacquie Walburn, and we're going to be talking about heal thyself naturally. So let me tell you a little bit about Jacquie. She's a condition-specific nutrition and lifestyle coach, empowering you to take back your health using target foods, nutritionals, and botanicals, using a function approach to rebalance the body into a healing state. After Jacquie found herself in a downward health spiral, and Western medicine had abandoned her to a declining life of drugs, healed herself of over 10 different chronic autoimmune spectrum conditions, allergies, asthma, arthritis, obesity, diabetes, eczema, edema, adrenal fatigue, leaky gut, and systemic candida. So for those of you that are listening, this is a big deal. And Jacquie doesn't know me. She doesn't know my experience in these stuff. Jacquie, I've had systemic candida. Ooh. I was so sick for 6 months. And I went to a naturopath that helped me. He made some suggestions that I didn't understand what he was saying. And I didn't take his advice for a couple of weeks. And once I took it and followed the simple little path, in 2 weeks, I was well. And I'm telling you, I had been so sick I could barely walk. And I was in my 30s. So I understand the value that, I had gone to regular doctors. I had spent quite a bit of money, didn't have insurance, and they didn't help me. But let's talk about you. Let's talk about these different things that were wrong with you. My goodness, you had quite a list there, and your path of how you got well.
Yes, thank you. That was fabulous intro. I'll just jump right off of your candida issue. I actually figured out that I had had candida since I was a kid.
That doesn't surprise me. Yep.
Was having all these issues, and no Western medicine doctor knew how to test for it, didn't know anything about it, couldn't do anything. I found a naturopath who gave me a few suggestions, but still was not fixing it. Doing candida cleanses, wasn't doing it. I still had all this candida in my blood, and you could actually see it. And I had to do a lot of research to actually come up with my own protocol and reversed it in like 6 months.
Wow.
It took that time, but 40 years plus of having candida overgrowth.
Wow. Well,
And
I will tell you
so,
that for our listeners, candida is another word for yeast, okay? And most of us women have had a vaginal yeast infection. And when my doctor was talking to me about it, I thought that's what he was talking about. And I'm thinking, no, I don't have that. And I think it was literally God that made it click in my brain and understand that he meant something else. So when we say systemic, that means it's all the way through your body. It's in your blood. It's through your body. And Jackie, I have a son. My youngest son is adopted. He was born with fetal alcohol syndrome and addicted to cocaine. And right there, the alcohol, I would bet you money that boy has a systemic candida infection. I have tried to talk to him about it. He doesn't think mom knows anything. And he suffers, and he eats things like top ramen. Well, he's got pancreatic problems. There are just certain things he cannot do, but he doesn't listen.
Well, they say everybody's on God's timeline. And, it's just like for myself, when I finally got to a point where I said, I've had enough. I can't do this. I refuse to die. I choose to live. And I am going to take charge of my health, myself, and I'm going to fix all this. That was the moment. And a lot of people get to that point, but then a lot of people don't know where to go when they reach that point. Okay, now what do I do? And so finding someone like myself or a good functional medicine doctor or a naturopathic doctor is the way to go, because when you're all in for getting rid of it, then the healing can begin when you make that choice. Mm-hmm. But the interesting part about your adopted son is that what he doesn't realize and may be helpful is that I published an article that has a jump link to toxic flour. And I didn't know until recently, again, I'm constantly learning, but that they actually add things to flour that aren't on the ingredient list because they're not required to. That actually they have ingredients in there that are specific for killing your pancreas.
No.
Yes.
Wait. They're intentionally adding something that they know can kill your pancreas.
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to talk to our listeners for a second. Guys, I've studied health for 12 years because of my business, Chance and Water, with my alkaline water ionizers, which Jackie she and I haven't talked about that. I know for a fact that they have cures for cancer. And if you look right now at the number of natural health doctors that have been killed, murdered in the last 5 years, it's very high. I personally know one that was sent to prison. My natural childbirth doctor, this is 37 years ago, was arrested the day that my child was due. Okay. There is big money in medicine and they don't want people getting healthy. I'm sorry. The FDA is not our friend. They approve things that they know can hurt us. Right. Am I speaking truth, Jackie?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I am so impressed that you know that. So, yes.
Oh, thank you. I do. I don't talk about it a lot on the show, but it is an important message for people to know, and as a matter of fact, this particular son of mine is very pro doctor. He's very pro pills, and he just about any strange feeling that you can have, he wants to know if there's a pill for it. And what are we doing there? We're treating the symptom, not the cause. Now, I know you are all about treating the cause, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right. So
that's where we got to go. So
I want to paint your picture a little bit bigger about your experience and then talk about what you do for people and how you help them, because I know you've got a lot of rich information here.
Okay. Well, the interesting part for my life story here is that at 12 years old, I was diagnosed with arthritis.
I was diagnosed as a kid. I was put in braces at 8 years old because of arthritis. Yes.
Mine happened to me at 12. And at that time I had severe allergies. I had asthma. And of course they had nothing. They didn't know anything. They didn't know what to do. And so basically I was told that either I had to have surgery on my feet where the arthritis was,
Mm-hmm.
or I was going to have to wear braces, and I was going to have to try a new modality called podiatry, where they would make orthotics for me to correct the way that I walked, told me I had a genetic defect that was causing the deformation of my feet that was causing this, which was all a farce. But anyway, so yeah, that's where I started on my path. So I started seeing a podiatrist. Because I refused to do surgery because I knew that that wasn't the answer. Then I found a chiropractor who specialized in Olympians. And because I was a high performance athlete starting out very young at 12,
Wow.
I still have the world record in the javelin for 12-year-olds.
Really?
Yes,
That's
I do.
impressive.
For the real javelin, not for the fake one they now use, but for the real one. So I still hold that world record. But
My goodness.
that was my destiny as far as, I did all through high school and college. I got my scholarships and everything else, athletic scholarships, doing javelin as my primary event. But
I was the
I had
opposite.
to-
I got a doctor's note to get out of PE from the time I was in junior high. Yeah, totally. Wow.
but
So you
anyway,
were
oh yeah, I was a high performance, and even with the arthritis, and it worked up into my knees and everything else, and got into my back, and I just kept going, and I just refused, and I became the queen of pain. That was my first venture, was to learn how to naturally treat all my pain.
Okay.
And so I have a huge array of things that can be done for people who have chronic pain because of my own journey there. But I was actually up to running 5 miles a day and training for the Olympics and everything else, despite all of my other problems. But that whole time, even though I was running 5 miles a day, doing stairs and stadiums and all this other sprint work, I still had edema in my ankles. I still had, my knees were swollen on a regular basis. I was taking ice baths every day, my whole body in, all again, dealing with all of this. I had trouble with my weight. I kept gaining weight. I kept having issues. Even though I was eating like 1,200 calorie diet a day and running 5 miles and working out 4 to 6 hours a day, I still was having trouble with my weight. I mean, all these things that nobody had any answer for, nobody knew what was going on, why. Even with my degree program in nutrition, my professors couldn't tell me, couldn't explain to me why I was having these issues. And again, this is back in the 80s, before they knew everything that we know now, as far as, and now of course I've learned so much, as far as I didn't know there was such a thing as carbohydrate intolerance disorder. And so actually I can't eat carbs. My body freaks
Even
out.
vegetables?
I can only do like 50 to 75 grams a day, but sometimes if I eat a baked potato, my blood pressure and my pulse rate will go up and my blood sugar will go through the roof. It's very interesting. But then, so once I changed everything, I mean, I hit menopause and I gained like 50 pounds.
Wow.
Yeah, and then I found out my knees were bone to bone. I had no cartilage left, and I reversed that too. I didn't mention that, but I also, had my liver enzymes went out of control. My kidneys started to fail. That's where I was at, possibly about 5 years left to live, like 5 years ago at this point, because my kidneys started to fail with everything that had happened in my life, mostly Diet Coke addiction.
Oh, that stuff's terrible. Yeah.
Oh, I know. Again, I had to reverse all that. So changing my diet and changing everything over and doing all the supplements and the target foods, I have now been able to lose 90 pounds. So I have reversed my diabetes. I have reversed my obesity. And then of course, now when I detoxed was one of the first things I decided to do in my journey, in my 50s. I lost all my allergies and my asthma and my arthritis by detoxing.
Wow.
And then when I changed my diet over, everything else went. So yeah, 12, 13 different conditions all went wayside, and I am just got a clean bill of health today from my naturopath that everything that I have done, I had to go beyond what they were doing because they couldn't fix me. My naturopath couldn't fix me. So I had to do it myself. And in the process, going a paleo keto diet, reducing my carbs down, getting out all the toxic foods, doing all organic, no grains, no grain, no pain, right? I'm sure we've heard about this book from
I have
Dr.
not
Osborne.
heard of that.
Oh, Dr. Osborne wrote a book called No Grain, No Pain, because all grains have a form of gluten in them, which is now been determined by Harvard that 100% of all humans have a problem with gluten, and it causes leaky gut for everybody, which is the core cause that goes into all autoimmune conditions. And they're finding that 170, the last time I checked, 170 different conditions and diseases are now directly linked to leaky gut.
Wow.
Starting the autoimmune process. And what causes leaky gut? One of the main things is gluten in all your grains.
Wow.
So us eating grains is, now they know the truth, that it actually is causing us. But plus there's, all the glyphosate and all the other pesticides they put on it just adds insult to it. The GMOs, the GMOs and glyphosate, Roundup glyphosate, actually was originally patented to be a antibiotic. And so basically when we eat that, it not only is it toxic to the body, but it also kills your microbiome, which is responsible for our lives being here.
I'll throw in for our listeners that when we were talking about candida earlier, the way that you get candida is very often from the overuse of antibiotics. And when the doctor first told me that,
Yes.
he didn't define what overuse was. It's anything more than 2 times in a year. But then again, we're eating animals that are shot up with antibiotics. And so you may not personally be on them and not realize that you've been exposed to them. Jackie, we're going to take a super quick break. And everybody, we're going to be right back. And when we come back, I'm going to have 2 questions for Jackie. And we're just going to have a great show. So we'll be right back. I want to ask you a quick question. How's your health? Do you or anyone that you know have health issues like type 2 diabetes, osteoarthritis, high cholesterol, or high blood pressure? Did you know that drinking Chanson alkaline ionized water from a Chanson water ionizer is like health insurance from your tap? While it affects everybody's bodies differently, it helps some people's bodies balance itself so well that some doctors have been able to reduce or remove their patients from medications. My favorite quote is from Dr. William Kelly of the College of Metabolic Medicine, author of The Cancer Cure. He says alkaline ionized water produced by a water ionizer has become the most important advancement in healthcare since Alexander Fleming's discovery of penicillin. So I invite you to visit chansonwater.com, say that you heard about water ionizers on Princess Power, and ask if that $200 discount is still available. And everybody, we are back. We've been talking to Jacquie Walburn, and this is fascinating. Now, I know a lot of this information from my studies, but I haven't talked to more than a handful of people that have reversed as many sicknesses and diseases as she has, and she has become an expert in this. I have known personally 2 people that lost 100 pounds each. Now, you've lost 90, and one of them reversed himself from many years of depression. He was on 50 medications a day, different pills and doses and, all this kind of thing. And he got rid of all of that by alkalizing his body. So before we get to all of that, let's talk about, you probably know the answer to this question. How much training does the average doctor get in medical school on nutrition? You know the answer to that one?
0.
No, you can put the zeros on top of each other. They get 8 hours. They get 8 hours, folks. Okay.
If they request it, not required.
It's unbelievable how little our doctors know about what we put in our mouths and the effects that it has on our body. Well, I want to hear the part of the story about you reversing this bone-on-bone loss. Let's focus on that for a minute. Tell us how you did that.
Well, there are a couple of different things that are specific, and the main thing is, this is going to catch everybody. The name that you can buy it under is Boswellia, which is actually the origination of frankincense.
Spell it, please.
Boswellia?
Yes.
Boswellia.
Okay. Wow.
And it has been proven in studies that it will actually not only take down inflammation, but it will actually regenerate your cartilage production and restore. And I have had x-rays before and after, and the doctors couldn't believe it. They looked at the x-ray and went, "Oh my God, you have the knees of a 20-year-old." And I'm like, "What?" I had no idea that I had done that. I just knew that it would rebuild it, but to have it all back, I have no idea how long it took, because there's about 10 years between the x-rays, but I only took it for a couple of years.
Wow.
So it rebuilt it all. And there's also an herbal extract called DMSO, which is dimethyl sulfur oxide, but it's all acronymed DMSO. And it actually is a natural form of cortisone. And basically, you can use it as much as you like. It has no side effects, and it goes right through the skin and into the joints and will dissolve scar tissue and stimulate healing and take out the inflammation. Wow. And so I was doing the two of those together at the same time, and that rebuilt my knees.
That's very impressive. And I'm specifically answering because my grandmother suffers so badly with that. And she's going to be 90 years old her next birthday. And to see her in so much pain. And unfortunately, she is one of these people that has to use Vicodin for everything. And I mean, literally to go from her chair to the bathroom, she's got to use a Vicodin to be able to come back. And Vicodin, for everybody that's listening, it is an opioid. It is extremely addictive. And for us to be able to use these natural things and actually heal ourselves versus just pain management.
Well, let me bring you in a little more on what Western medicine doesn't allude to. Is all of these pain medications, even the over-the-counter ibuprofen. It says right in the fine print that this will cause bleeding, internal bleeding, and that includes perpetuating leaky gut.
Oh my goodness.
And the thing is, see, so much of our arthritis and our pain and everything else is due to leaky gut and an autoimmune response that's causing it. But then they give us drugs and they tell us to take these drugs that block the pain sensors, but perpetuate the leaky gut so that you have to keep taking it.
Well, what I'm going to say next isn't exactly on topic because we're not talking about cancer, but I just want to give people perspective here. For every one person that has cancer, there are 8 people making money off of that sickness. So I'm trying to draw the correlation between this leaky gut caused by something that they know that causes it. Now, on the flip side, I'm not doing a commercial here for my water right now, but the alkaline ionized water from a water ionizer helps the body balance itself so that you can heal from a lot of these types of things that we're talking about. Okay. We hear amazing testimonials. We have doctors that have been able to take their patients off of all kinds of medications, and legally I am not allowed to advertise that, plastered around, talk about it. Okay. Because it is not a drug. Okay. The FDA only allows drugs to heal, treat, cure, prevent, and nothing natural is legally allowed to do that. So the reason I'm talking about that is if you see the label, you go down to buy this Boswellia, whatever it is, and right on the label it says, this cannot heal, treat, cure, prevent, whatever. And you're like, well, why am I spending my money on it? Well, all they're doing is telling you what the law requires them to tell you.
Yes.
It's not truth.
Yes.
I hate that. I'm sorry. I love our government. I love the privilege of living in the United States of America, but I don't agree with everything.
Well, I'll plug in here for your water here, because alkalizing is the problem. Is most of our sad American diet.
I love that. Yes.
Is actually the standard American diet, called the SAD diet, is so high in grains, which are acid, so high in meat, which is acid, that the things that alkalize are all the vegetables. And if we don't balance those things equally, your body becomes more acidic.
Yes.
And that acid, candida loves acid, cancer loves acid,
Yes.
inflammation loves acid. And as
All the
long as
sicknesses
you,
and diseases. Everything you talked about. I'm sorry, folks, I hear that we're getting a little feedback there, and I'm sorry about that. I apologize. Our sound is not perfect. She talked about having asthma and arthritis. These are all things, diabetes, every single one of the things that she named are things that we see this water helping. And in the beginning, I'm a Christian. I don't want to lie. I thought, well, how can I tell people that it's going to heal all of those things? It just sounded too fantastic for me. And there's that people out there calling it snake oil on tap, all that kind of stuff. It's all because of the fact that these things, exactly what she's saying, that it's all rooted in acidity, which causes inflammation. And over the years, I've learned that all of these things are tied together. Now, I told you about the two people, Jackie, that I had that healed themselves and lost the 100 pounds each and had all these amazing things. Both of them became healthy vegans. Now, you can be an unhealthy vegan eating junk food and everything else. They went vegetables, okay? I'm not saying vegetarian, because you can be an unhealthy vegetarian too. But vegetables, they were able to alkalize their body. Now, some people are not able to be that extreme. And that's where the water comes in fabulously, is for the people that can't make that huge jump. Ideally you want to eat 80% vegetables. Now I try, but do I do it? No, I really love meat. I'm sorry. I had barbecue today. I joke that I'm a cheating vegan, and it's just a pure joke because I'm not anything close to a vegan, but
Well, actually, it's funny that when I first started designing my programs, I called it Carnivegan.
I love that.
Because it's basically your healing diets. I believe myself that meat has a place for many people.
It does.
Not everybody. It all depends on the person. Some people can do meat, some people can't. It's inflammatory to some people. It's acidifying for some people if you're not doing enough. But Dr. Hyman actually coined the phrase pegan for being paleo-vegan.
Okay.
Because the idea is that if you eat just a little bit of protein meat every day, but the rest of your diet is basically vegetables, then you can alkalize even with the meat. You can still alkalize. You can still meet all of your requirements. You get all the nutrition. You get all of the antioxidants. You get all the bioflavonoids. You get all the vitamins and minerals, everything. But the diet does include that you need to eat 6 to 10 servings of vegetables a day.
Yes.
Now, I'll tell you, the easy way for me, I get this because I love my smoothies.
Yes, high five, everybody.
Woo-hoo,
Yep.
I mean, I actually put 2 cups of spring mix into my smoothies.
Whip it up in that
cup,
NutriBullet. Yep.
Oh yeah, and I put a big scoop of chocolate cacao powder and put in some frozen fruit, and then I also put in my greens mix, and then my bone broth collagen protein powder.
Yeah.
And then I put in beets, and I put in, all this other stuff. I put in almond butter and carrot juice. So I'm actually getting like 6 servings.
Right in that one, yes.
And that one yummy chocolate frosty.
And you have fabulous skin, by the way.
Oh, I'm glad it looks that way. But anyway, cool.
Well, it looks great here.
I mean, after losing 90 pounds, I look a little older because I'm not, so puffy, but my skin is starting to come back because it's only been a couple years, I guess. But I'm doing all these supplements to try to tighten up my skin with collagen and all this other stuff and essential oils. So I'm trying to but I have all this skin from all the weight because I did lose it, in just over a year.
Yeah, my girlfriend had a lot of loose skin, and that was very embarrassing to her. She would always wear long sleeves to hide the arms and things like that. But you know what? I think that losing 90 pounds is a huge accomplishment. And if you've got to deal with a little bit of skin to let it catch up, I'll
take it.
Yeah.
I'll take it. You know what?
Absolutely.
I'm old enough that I really actually don't care. But I am trying to, I want my skin to be healthy. So I'm doing lots of collagen, and I'm doing essential oils and other things and biotin and all sorts of other supplements to try to help with, quercetin, even the boswellia is good for skin.
Really?
So I'm actually back on. Well, it's frankincense. I mean, think about the Bible.
Yes.
One of the most healing things on the planet is frankincense. But you can get frankincense in a powdered form when you take boswellia, and it's very inexpensive.
Really?
Yeah, it is. And so it'll heal everything, all your joints, all your cartilage, all your collagen in your skin.
Wow.
I mean, it's a super food, so to speak. So it's one of the supplements that I recommend for a lot of things.
Well, I'm definitely going to have to grab some for my grandmother and for myself. And I'm not a person who likes to take supplements. I don't like swallowing pills. I'm adverse to that. But throwing them in that smoothie in the morning, piece of cake.
Piece of cake, yes. And you can buy the frankincense oil and you can just rub it on your skin, or you can actually put it in the bath.
You know, I do have some of that. My daughter's
so
very
just
big
one
on
drop, and that will, cover you. And it's, or you can, if you have, so you can always do it that way too. But I'm starting to get, a little overwhelmed with the number of supplements that I'm taking. So I'm starting to opt more for, like, I've stopped taking fish oil pills. There's research that's recently come out saying that the processing and everything else of the fish oil pills is actually detrimental, and it's not having the effect anymore that they thought it did because of the way they did the testing. So I have switched over to an algal form, which means that they're getting it from the source, because all of your omega-3s actually come from the phytoplankton in the ocean. And so you can get it now back to the algal form, where they actually are extracting it directly from the algae, because that's where the krill eat it to get the krill oil. And so you can buy it in an algal form, and it comes in a liquid, and I just put it right in my smoothies.
There we go. Hey guys, smoothies are the bomb. And I'm telling you, I don't put any flavors in there, a few strawberries and blueberries, and I switch off between spinach and kale. Now there are people that say don't mix the fruits and the vegetables, and they may be right or not, but it adds a little bit of flavor, a little bit of sweetness. It makes it a little tolerable for me. And you get a massive amount of your fruits and vegetables all in one, little down it in the morning, and good to go.
Absolutely. I do it every day for lunch now. I mean, I just...
Do you?
Yes.
Now, if I'm interested in losing weight, I go ahead and I do 2 a day, and it really helps to cut out that extra meal and have the more nutrition. And that's a key word there. I try to ask myself when I'm going to eat something, and I certainly get tempted to be off the rails. Okay, let's not say tempted. Let me just be really honest. I'm not going to lie to you. I just eat it. Okay. So like things I shouldn't. So yeah.
Well, let me bring something in here, because I had to give up all those things when I found out about flour and gluten and everything else, and knew that it was toxic to my body. I actually went on a mental journey and an emotional journey to be able to purge myself of the mental and the emotional thing of my connection to food. And I actually changed my relationship with food. And now I look at food and I go, is this going to stimulate my brain and cause my body to cry? Or is my body going to love me back for eating it? So I look at all these other foods, my kale and my spinach and my smoothies and all this other stuff. I look at it and go, ooh, my body's gonna love this. Ooh, oh yeah, I can see it coming now. Oh, my body's gonna be so, and all my cells in my body are going, woo! They're so happy and proud of me for doing this. And they love me back.
So you've changed the wording. Yeah, I try to ask myself, okay, is there nutritional value to this? Now, I ordered some chips as a side yesterday, and I ate like 2 or 3 of them and just went, I don't need this. I don't want this. I would rather order something and reject it than sit there and just eat the whole plate because, I spent the money or whatever it is. But yeah, is there nutritional value to this? But I love the way you put it. And I love your body, the idea of having a little party that you're doing the right thing. Sorry, guys. Drop my mic. I was just thinking about my chickens. I love my chickens. I haven't had chickens for very long, so it's fun. I'm a transplant, Jackie. I just moved here from California. I moved to Kentucky. And one of the side benefits, I have myself 3 chickens. Well, actually, I have a separate dozen, but that's a whole nother story. Anyway, so I have my fresh eggs and I get to go out there. And those girls, I didn't let them out today. I didn't let them free range because I wasn't out there to watch them. And they were about to bust down the door. They wanted out. They wanted to get those bugs. And it's amazing the difference in the color of the eggs.
Oh, yeah.
And girl, here I was buying, the extra large brown free range eggs, they're like $6 a carton or whatever. And so I thought I was buying the best, right? Organic and all this good stuff. And when I hold my chicken's eggs from my backyard next to, what I thought were the super duper eggs, night and day difference. Mine are bigger. They're oranger on the inside. Not everybody can do that. But when we can do those little changes for our health, it makes a difference, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. And, the thing that would be important for people to recognize here is, what do they feed cows and chickens to fatten them up?
Yes.
They feed them corn. They feed them GMO corn.
Yep.
It's not their natural food. Yep. And this is why they actually have an allergic reaction to it that causes them to get fat. And here we are eating it. I mean, it's just like, oh my God. And I could go into, why in the world are we drinking infant formula from another animal anyway?
Milk, which is designed to get cows fat, right?
Exactly. It's designed to do it. So why are we surprised?
Right.
Why are we surprised? And then they feed them all this other stuff that the antibodies and everything else and all the antibiotics they give them for all the stuff goes right into all these products. It's just, I lost 20 pounds when I gave up gluten. I lost 20 more when I gave up all grains. I lost 30 pounds when I gave up dairy.
Really?
Yes. And then I lost 20 more when I went low carb, as far as going paleo ketogenic. So to get rid of my carbohydrate intolerance. But the dairy actually was the biggest thing for me. I couldn't believe it. I was so shocked. I was so unwilling because those are my favorite foods in the whole wide world. But I now do vegan cheese. I now do vegan cream cheese.
Really?
Yes.
Okay, and so for those of you that are listening that you haven't tried this stuff, it's typically made out of nuts, usually something like an almond nut, or with the cheese, it's often cashew nuts that are soaked first. So am I correct?
Yes.
Okay.
So I get to have my cheese and eat it too.
Good for you. I made vegan tacos one night, and you had to make the cheese, and you made the salsa, and you made the fake meat, and you used cabbage leaves for the taco, and they were fabulous. My husband said that they could have been like served in a hotel, but it took like 3 flipping hours to make dinner for these tacos because you had to individually make all these ingredients. The vegan thing didn't work well for me. It should, I know, but I just have to be.
Well, actually, it really comes down to is you need to make stuff in bulk. So when I make my own vegan cheese from zucchini.
Zucchini? Now that I haven't heard of.
Yes, you can actually, and it's not, I shouldn't say vegan. It's not vegan. It's non-dairy. But you can make it vegan. But because I'm not a vegan, I used protein. I used beef
broth.
Well, I used gelatin.
Okay.
Beef gelatin.
Really?
So that is what made it, and then that's why it melts when it gets hot, type thing, when it gets warm. But zucchini and apple cider vinegar and this, you can buy a big bag of the beef gelatin.
I have not heard of using zucchini for cheese. That's a new one for me, for sure. I've made brownies from sprouts and, other
sweet potatoes.
Haven't tried
black beans. Sweet potatoes and black beans make great brownies. Oh yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Oh,
There's lots of. You should check out my Pinterest site. I have like all these different recipes of how to get away from all this stuff and how to remake your comfort foods
Oh my
on my
goodness.
Pinterest site. So it's under Real Health Solutions,
Okay.
and it's a Pinterest, and I have over 1,000 recipes on there. And
Really?
yes, and my new love is actually paleo baking flour,
Really?
because there actually is a paleo baking pancake flour out there.
Really?
I can't remember who makes it. And you know what? I made it for my husband, who's not doing any of the things I am.
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "These are the best pancakes you have ever made me. What did you do?" And I said, "Honey, it's paleo flour that is mostly coconut flour, almond flour, and cassava." And he said, "So they're not pancakes, they're nut cakes." And I said, "Yes." And he said, "I don't ever want you to make me any other type of pancake again."
Oh my gosh, now that's a
I
huge
know.
compliment.
And this is a man who has, regular sandwiches every day for lunch and has cereal for breakfast.
Oh
Ugh,
wow. Oh
worst
my
things in the
gosh.
world, but he likes these. And I make a wonderful applesauce muffins that are made out of this paleo baking flour, that are absolutely to die for.
Wow.
They are just fabulous with
Well,
you crushed
how would
bananas
we
and everything else. So
find your Pinterest sites, and what other ways would people reach out to contact you? We're going to have to wrap up soon, but I want to talk about your book. I want to talk about how to contact you and what your offers would be and what working with you looks like. So that's a lot to cover in just a few minutes, but
ooh,
let me be
okay.
quiet and let you share.
Okay, so website is Real Health and then abbreviated solutions, which is solns.com. I have a Facebook page that is Real Health Solutions with Jacquie. Pinterest site, which is Real Health Solutions. I'm also on LinkedIn, so I can be contacted there. My book is Heal Thyself Naturally, which is basically target foods, nutritionals, and botanical alternatives to all the drugs and everything out there so that you can reverse any symptoms you have. I'm doing a lot more than that now because it doesn't include a lot of the dietary stuff as far as the healing diets, but I do have articles. I have 15, 20 different published articles on LinkedIn that are also linked over to my website. From my website, you can go link to my LinkedIn profile to see all my articles. But anyway, if you contact me, if you go to my website, or you can email me, same address at gmail.com. You can answer some of the questions that are on my contact page as far as what are your symptoms, where are you at, what are you struggling with, why do you want to change, what have you done so far, and then you answer those questions and send them back to me. Then I will do a free email consultation to at least send you in the right direction without selling you anything. But if you want, I will design a specific individual program from a functional perspective directly for you with the exact foods, the exact nutrients, the exact botanicals and essential oils just for your conditions, plural. So I'm not focusing on just one thing. I call myself the leaky gut girl because everything spans out from there, because that is your root cause to all sorts of different conditions. And if you heal the gut, you heal the body. That's Hippocrates back before Christ. He was the father of modern medicine and said all health starts in the gut, and a healthy gut is everything.
Wow.
So trying to get back to that originals of what it takes to get healthy and what it takes to heal, because you can heal anything, including cancer, including diabetes, obesity, whatever, arthritis. No matter what it is, your body wants you to live. And your body is sending these signals out to you as symptoms, telling you, hey man, pay attention, something's wrong. And if we listen to it, because we've been told all our lives, oh, that's just part of aging, when it's not. It's just our bodies getting overwhelmed with toxins and everything else that we're doing in our daily lives that can be reversed.
Well, this has been fabulous. It's important for people to know that they can reverse sickness and diseases. And I just want to thank you so much, Jackie. For those of you that are listening and you didn't get to write down the name of her book or the website, things like that, those are all on our website over at princesspower.com. And please, please share, like, and comment the show. You know people that need this information. And we just want to thank you for listening. And thank you, Jackie, for taking your time with us today. This has been fabulous.
Thanks so much for listening to the Princess Power Hour with Natalie Thomas. For more great content and to stay up to date, visit princesspower.com or on Instagram, Pinterest, Facebook, and Twitter at PP Princess Power. Until next time, work smarter, not harder. Have a question for your host of Princess Power Hour, Natalie Thomas? Contact us at www.princesspower.com or tweet us at PP Princess Power.